Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the Daily Market Insight for Thursday, the 20th of July. All right, now I've had a bit of a frustrating day here. Unexpectedly, there was a planned power outage, and I didn't really realize until I was doing this sort of Daily Market Insight trading opportunities for today about 6-7 hours ago, and then the power went down. Right now, I had some things planned out. And I can tell you what, it's been a very frustrating sort of week. Really getting caught up on focusing on the top side of the UK inflation yesterday. I was focused on strong employment numbers out of Australia today. It wasn't until about 10 minutes ago I turned everything back on once the power came up. And tell you what, this is where, performance anxiety can come in, but you just got to let the anger out and move on. So Aussie surges after strong jobs data, right? So as soon as I saw that, I looked at the data and sure as hell, we see the move. Now, what are we sort of seeing at the moment? Just in the markets, I just want to focus on the trading opportunities for today. So just looking at the where the markets are. Now, we don't exactly have a risk on profile, right? The US equity futures, a little bit mixed, okay? And what we are seeing though, Euro, Sterling, Aussie, Kiwi to the top side. Now, this is the same as yesterday. When the weak UK inflation numbers came out, it obviously pushed sterling down and drove all the US dollar pairs up. Okay, and today we're seeing strong Aussie data do the exact same thing, right? So Aussie against the US, Aussie goes up, US dollar goes down. So it's pretty simple, but it's good to sort of see that sort of shape because it gives you a bit more confidence in the market that these pairs are working the same. Across the global markets, equity markets still sitting at their lofty heights, right? They'll come into play today with the US numbers coming out. As will the dollar index. Euros sort of sitting there, sort of waiting for something to happen. Gold higher, oil higher, right? Really respecting that support trend line. And crypto is just banging around 30,000 or Bitcoin. So if you look at the major currencies, right? This is where obviously you can see that move in the Aussie. Now, I'll just show you what I had prepared, right, for today's trading opportunities. Now, you're looking at the, right, let me just get that up. Okay, so this is what would have been the key theme about 7 hours ago. Aussie employment numbers. If we get a low number, Aussie Swiss was definitely a target. But if we get a high number, Euro, Aussie and Sterling Aussie, right? So I'll just come back and show you how that turned out. It's always nice to see a plan works out, but not when you're not on it. Let's come over here to the Aussie and we're on that chart. Yep. Okay. So just having a look here. I mean, Euro Aussie has just been tracking sort of sideways and waiting for something to happen. It's pretty much the same as what we've got, the same setup for Euro on the US numbers today. A bit of an eye opener to what can happen. So the data comes out strong. You get, what is that? Like a 100-point move to the downside. Now that's hard to swallow. And then obviously with the fresh sterling weakness yesterday, you get strong Aussie numbers and sterling had sort of retraced back to a sort of 191.10 and it's down at 89.40, right? That's a good 100 points to the downside there as well. That's extremely, can't tell you, like just massively pissed off that sort of came into play. Aussie Swiss, well, I was looking for the downside on weak numbers, but you can see where that sort of came into play. The other pairs, I mean, Aussie yen went higher and you've seen a bit of a retracement in Aussie CAD. Aussie Kiwi really neutralized, nothing going on there. So what I was looking at with the Aussie was just focusing on the best possible opportunities. Euro Aussie against the sort of general trend, maybe a short-term trade, but Sterling Aussie definitely a trade with the recent trend, right? Okay, so it goes some way to explain to you how we were looking for the rest of the numbers. Now, let me just go through the rest of the trading opportunities for today. And it's sort of, as I said, the outcome on the Aussie is a bit of a precursor to what could come up on the US jobless claims and the US Philly Fed data, right? We've also got the EU consumer confidence numbers. They follow the US numbers. Now, we've got a bunch of pairs here, and you'll see that they are sort of on a low outcome. We're sort of trading the same instruments, okay, except for US equities. Now, obviously, the ones in black there are with the recent trend, and the orange ones are against the recent trend. So these might be a short-term trading opportunity. So if the US numbers come out high, well, then you're going to see a similar move to what I just showed you there on Euro Aussie, where these things will move, but they're not exactly with the current trend. Okay, strong numbers. Like the US dollar is still in that downtrend. It hasn't finished yet, right? So that's a short-term move. Whereas if we get weak US numbers, you're going to get a follow-through move once again, like we saw on the sterling Aussie with the Aussie strong Aussie numbers, right? Goes with the trend. You can see it's an easier trade, right? Now, EU consumer confidence numbers, well, these will come into play. Now, medium to low sort of like impact. If we get low numbers here, well, Euro to the downside, Euro Swiss, which is with the downtrend. Euro Swiss is trading or trending down very nicely, and Euro Kiwi, right? So you might have, if we get weak numbers, Euro and Euro Kiwi to the downside, but sort of bear in mind, they have sort of been going up. What it is it'll give you a flush out of those positions, and that's where you get the move, okay? But I wouldn't fall in love with the position, but I would with Euro Swiss. If we get a high number, well, Euro's been tracking topside, and I did have in here Euro Aussie if the Aussie unemployment numbers came out weak, but we know they've come out strong. So that's probably not really in the frame of things. If anything, it'll correct the move we saw today from the Aussie numbers. All right, so they're the key data releases I'm sort of looking at today. Obviously, the Aussie employment done, EU consumer confidence, and these are the pairs. So check those out as you go sort of through the session. These are like to give you an idea, right, of what to look for. Now, what I'm doing with this is really focusing in on the specific instruments, majors or Euro crosses, to really get you into the trading opportunity. Now, outside of that, just looking at just to give you the last piece of information, right? You've got the jobless numbers. If I just come back over here, I can get you up some of the variables, or some of the details, I should say, for those specific numbers. US Philly Fed Business Index, okay, expected -10. There's your range. Jobless claims, 242, and 230 to 260K, the range. EU confidence, consumer confidence, -16 and -17 to -15, the range there as well. And keep an eye on those US existing houses. They could come into play. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.